How does that work? I could do it if I were allowed to, but I haven't got a clue how to record. I have a button here. I click that, but does it start working? I'll just click on record.
No, I did already.
Permission.
It asked me to. Yeah, and I did it. It's Kim.
You did it. Okay, great.
Okay. So I just, I forgot to, that I had another agenda. So this is the agenda that we should look at. I did add the number 2, which is CIM Council meeting update. Is anyone would like to do a safety or a diversity moment?
Well, diversity moment. I just came back from the Netherlands, which is supposed to be a diverse country, but there's huge amounts of racism there. And it's a lot of it's hidden, and I'm sure that in Canada also a lot of it is hidden. Even people sometimes don't know they have it. So there's lots of work to be done for us.
Did you have an example of what you noticed?
The example is really related to Moroccans, and as soon as you say Moroccan in Holland, you have a person that is the automatic association is criminal. And there's lots of people from Morocco working that are not criminals.
Okay, thank you, Jan. So if it's fine with you, then I'll start. And maybe other people will come to the call. Kim, do you want to take the presence, or it's fine?
Yeah, I can take the
presence. We can ask people starting by the Pacific region to say who they are.
Okay, I think I'm in the Pacific region. It's Lana Eagle, and okay. I'm calling in as an executive of the ESRS, and I am second vice for the social part of ESRS, and I work together with Holly Gardner.
Okay, I wasn't clear, so just say your name and it will be fine.
Okay, well, I'm
people
done.
From the Pacific.
Hi, Alistair Kent here from Vancouver.
And Kim Bittman, secretary for the ESRS in Vancouver.
Bob Chambers from Vancouver.
Hi, Bob.
Chris Ward from Calgary.
I guess that would make me next. Karen Chauvin, I'm in Saskatoon, and I'm the vice chair of ESRS.
Is anybody have any Manitoba? Otherwise, it's probably me in Ottawa, and I'm on the curriculum group. Jan Boone, sorry.
This is
So is
Jeff
it
Walker.
Jana from Montreal? Whoops, sorry.
That's okay. This is Jeff Walker from CSA in Toronto.
Hi there. This is Britt McKinnon from Kingston, Ontario.
No. This is Jeff Geipel from, well, I'm actually in Vancouver, but I'm normally in Toronto, so I thought I'd wait for that.
Could you repeat that? I could hardly hear it.
So I said I'm Jeff Geipel in Toronto.
Are the people from Ontario?
Hi, it's Ann Johnson from Kingston.
So Edith from Montreal. Anyone from the Maritimes? Okay, so we'll start. So we had a council meeting, a CIM council meeting on Friday, November 23rd, and I'm here to summarize a little bit of what was said and tell you about some motions we had. So there was a presentation from the Canadian Security Administrators, and it was a presentation, a general presentation, and I think it was an idea from CIM to try to see what are the links and the relationships between the CSA and CIM, and I'm glad to see Jeff Walker here. from the same entity. So this is nice. And we did
actually I'm from a different CSA. I'm from the Canadian Standards Association.
Okay, thank you. So the meeting was with the Canadian Securities Administrators. Okay, and it's so we had a nice presentation, and then we did mention to the representative from the CAC group that we have a best practice report coming on NI 43-101, and we were going to be able to present that report to them after that report being revised by CIM in the spring. So that was a good way to say what we are doing, what we're working on. We also had an update on the One CIM committee. You probably know that we have a One CIM steering committee. So the co-chairs did explain where we were with that activity. So we had a Mining for Society, so the M4S, a mineral literacy exhibition. There was also a mentorship program that they are looking at with the Queen's University. There's a virtual knowledge sharing sessions, support structure for branches regarding our 3 strategic goals. This is what will happen soon. And there was an initiative proposed for a 1 membership model. So this is the activities with that One CIM steering committee. There was also something closer to ESRS, a governance report, and within that governance report, there's a new motion saying that CIM Council can appoint a representative if they didn't receive any comment from district VPs or any, branches or any comment from societies. Let's say a society doesn't appoint someone, then after a while, there will be an appointment made by the CIM Council to fill out the positions within the CIM Council. There was also an update from the Mineral Resources and Mineral Review, which is called the MRMR Committee. And a motion was passed to approve the revised CIM Minerals Exploration Best Practices Guidelines, dated on November 23rd of 2018. So this is a new guidelines that is available on the CIM site.
They actually just emailed that out to everyone in the newsletter as well.
Yes, I saw that. That was yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's also, and this is, I think we are a little bit proud of that because it's coming from ESRS, but we did ask for a revision of the process for short courses. And with that short course process, which are the courses that are a day before the CIM convention, we decided to share we wanted to share the surplus of those courses. So the societies have decided to get involved. So 75% of the surplus of those courses now will go to the CIM national office because they are organizing the activities. But since we are helping with the activities, 25% of surplus will be paid to the societies. And the societies will decide what they do with that short amount of money. There is also a new model for conference surplus sharing for committee. And I think we already mentioned that one, but there's there will be now 60 on the 60% surplus coming from the technical sessions. 25% will go to societies. And 10%, and for the 40% left of surplus, 10% will now go to the committees. Let's say Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Advisory Committee, and the School Curriculum Mining Committee. So they will be attributed some money coming from the technical sessions also. There was also, and to finish with that, there was a motion to accept the Environmental and Social Responsibility Society Charter, which was done unanimously without any problems, of course. So that is our first charter to the society. So that's my little report coming from the CIM National Office. Any questions about the council, the CIM council?
I have a quick question about the minerals and society, or mining and society. I missed that a bit. Could you say a little, one more word about that?
The what?
Mining and society, you mentioned.
Mining and societies.
At least I noted down that you said it came just after the Canadian Security Administration presentation, and then you mentioned the group work on mining for society, and I was just curious. Well, don't worry. Send me.
I guess yeah, and I think it's the 1CIM update. And there's a committee, I'm not sure if I will answer you properly, but there's a new committee called the 1CIM committee. And the idea is to make sure that we are better organized and we attract more different type of members. And there's the Mining for Society Mineral Literacy Exhibition. That is an initiative that we would like to be part of. So that was an idea that came up from that 1CIM committee, part of the M4S.
Just 1 minute.
There's lots of in the background.
Can you please mute your mic, Anne? Because I think you have some wind or something that's, thank you. Good.
Thank you.
That's fine. So those are initiatives that the 1CIM committee would like to get involved with.
Because when I heard mining for society, I thought that is typically an ESRS topic, and I was wondering how that fitted together.
Okay, no, it's not ESRS.
Okay, thank you.
If it's okay, I will pass on to Karen to talk about the CIM convention, the next CIM convention.
Okay. So I'm just going to start with saying, like, we have had a significant shift in the number of abstracts that have come into the system. I'm really happy. We have kind of around, say, 55 or so abstracts submitted directly under sustainable development, where we have a much larger span of topics than we have in the past, including electrification and clean energy, ways to optimize the entire system, and a lot of stuff on proactive planning and development of mines. So that's really good to see. There's a lot of material on value from waste and alternate waste management practices. We also have around 25 or so on the people and community side of things, but there I know is a lot of work still going on in the background to get some other abstracts in and organize sessions. And there's an additional, say, 20 or so abstracts that were submitted under just various streams that are relevant to our lineup. So I'll be making sure to watch for what we can bring across, what we can share in other groups, and work with other societies to pull things together. I held a meeting with MES yesterday, and we are working towards having a joint session with them. Actually, we'll cover 2 sessions, but it's on one topic for designing sustainable prosperity. So essentially looking at how mining can be used as a catalyst to help improve the economic development potential of a region, as opposed to completely relying on the mine. So there's a number of things in works for that. And the nice thing about this as well is MES does not have enough topics they want to cover that will fill their entire stream, and they're more than happy to discuss with us where we might move some things across into their stream so that we can fill a few other boxes and incorporate some of those extra topics that we normally don't get. So lots of positive movement in that direction, and a lot of collaboration that seems to be underway with the technical programming committee. We do have, for short courses, we approved 3 that were submitted under ESRS's banner. One of them is our very own full day tailings and waste management workshop, and I'll let Alistair give a brief update on that in just a minute. But the other 2 are half-day sessions, both focused around different aspects of social responsibility, both in terms of planning, being proactive in planning things in, and then some, I think, a little bit more on just how you work together and resolve challenges and things like that. So there's 2 that are complementary that we've proposed they do one before the other instead of at the same time. And maybe Alistair, if you want to speak a little about the workshop, and then we'll let Lana talk a little bit more about both Indigenous Day and the stakeholder dialogue session.
Okay, yep. Reporting on this is really the same as reporting on item number 5, the Tailings and Water Management Working Group. The 2 things roll together rather nicely, and our focus has been trying to build on the momentum of previous 4+ years led by Rick Seawick in the aftermath of unfortunate events here in BC and elsewhere. Those courses have been well attended, I would say, by a lot of technical people, and we felt it was appropriate this time around to focus on the operational end of things, those managing facilities, those faced with either taking a fresh design and putting wheels on it in the field. And we all know there are challenges, systematic challenges that have come to light. And so we've got a team of consultants and mine environmental managers, impressive group of people actively thinking about what the content should be. And we're going to be working on that the next 2 or 3 months. And I would say to all of you, if you have ideas about operational issues with managing tailings facilities, and you have thoughts or experiences on good practices to solve those systematic problems, then we'd love to hear from you and involve you in planning the workshop.
Alistair, just on that, while I have it in my mind, Risa does have internal contacts at Stantec who she was going to touch base with to potentially work with you as well.
Sure. Yeah. No. This is an inclusive team, and any solid ideas about good practice, we will listen and work those ideas in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lana?
I'm here. So my first update is on Indigenous Day, and we had a meeting with Lise Bujold, who is the CIM staff person who is responsible for the conference. And I think one of her first questions to us was, do we want to have an Indigenous Day or an Indigenous stream? And we said an Indigenous Day, which means a lot of work to bring that together. So one of my first tasks was to I think one of the first things that CIM wanted was to work with with an organization that may already have an ability to put this together and to work with us. So I was tasked with approaching CAMA, which is the Canadian Aboriginal Minerals Association, and they have not responded. And what I know is that they are looking at revamping themselves, restructuring themselves. So up until last year, they had a national conference that took place every November, and this is the first year they haven't had a national conference. And their whole idea is to go perhaps more regional, so to focus on different regions in Canada and to have smaller conferences. And so my email was not answered. So I think that lets us know that really we're going to be going at this by ourselves unless we approach another organization. But that's getting a little bit late. I know that one of the big attenders at CAMO was Mattawa First Nation, and they're looking for a place that they can land as far as their whole group goes of nations around the Ring of Fire. So perhaps that's another opportunity to speak with them about their involvement in planning this. But essentially what we would do is, call out anyone who has not submitted an abstract yet to participate, and to make sure that, in our marketing streams are aligned so people can, if they really want to have an Indigenous focus as far as their learning goes, they would know what sessions to attend, who might be hosting a session that's really focused on Indigenous people. So I think from what I gather, Lise is very excited about moving forward with this, but we have to be prepared to do the work as well. And honestly, with everything else that's going on, this is huge. So if we're going to make this work, it'll have to be, a lot of work will have to be done in January to sort of figure out like who has already submitted an abstract with respect to working with Indigenous people, and who we can ask to submit an abstract if we haven't heard from perhaps a certain region, and that sort of thing. So I already have had some preliminary conversations with different mining companies. So it's just a matter of making sure that they're able to be there, as well as, figuring out a time slot in which they would present.
We also have as being in the call with Lana and Lise, we also are trying to get in touch with the Cree people to organize activities around Indigenous issues, of course, during that day. The day will be on the Tuesday, if it goes on, if it's working well.
Sorry, that was one thing I was going to clarify. So Indigenous Day is on the Tuesday, right?
Yes.
That's what I understand, yeah.
Do you have any updates on the stakeholder dialogue workshop?
We had a session with Andres, I'm going to say maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. We have not met since, so I don't have any further updates. But
could I enter a quick comment for Lana while I think of it?
Sure.
Natural Resources Canada has established full reconciliation unit, and if you need papers, you could contact them. They might be very pleased to present some of the stuff they do. And the person contact would be Sophie Sliwa, SOCPHI.SLIWA@canada.ca.
Okay, that was a lot for me. So maybe what I can get you to do, Jan, is to send me her email address. And if you can email that to me, that'd be great.
What's your,
or me, send it to me, I'll get it to Lana.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect.
I guess one question, Lana, is do you think that you need any more people to help with the stakeholder dialogue session, or any other planning that anybody here on the call might be able to?
Oh, definitely. I mean, right now for Indigenous Day, it's essentially volunteer-wise, myself and Edith, and we're both very busy people. And then on the multi-stakeholder dialogue is essentially Andres, and I can't even remember off the top of my head who else is involved, but we did have probably Holly, right? But you know, we've got so many responsibilities with other aspects of CIM, so I would welcome anyone who wants to join us to work on this.
There was a call for members for that working group on the last newsletter. So maybe people can refer to that if they want to be involved, or they can contact someone from ESRS, and we'll make sure to redirect those people to the leads of the working groups.
Yeah, so maybe Karen, if Karen the person to contact, is that would make sense. She knows how to reach each of us, and
people can send an email to esrs@cim.org, or I think on the newsletter it might have had Andres' email as well. The one thing that I'd ask is, do you have just a really quick, you know, 1 or 2 liner about what the potential topic or focus might be, so that people know?
Oh gosh,
or has that not been decided yet?
Well, it has sort of been decided, but I was going through my notebook to see if I could find it, and I couldn't. It's terrible, but I can send you what that 1 or 2 liner is in the next day or so, and at least you'll know what it is, and I can let you be more aware of it, and I can be more aware of it too. But I know that it wasn't really focused on Indigenous people in Canada. We were looking at sort of the broader perspective of global. And so, you know, looking at presenters from other parts of the world, whether Latin America or whomever, that's sort of our focus. So it's a little broader. So that's why the multi-stakeholder dialogue, yes, it's about Indigenous people, but it's not about Canada's Indigenous people specifically. So if we wanted to include that in Indigenous Day, we would probably will. And that just saves us, you know, trying to fill a whole day of presentations, and makes it a little more, a little less challenging, I would think.
Okay. The one other thing I'll say, because we've covered kind of 3 and 4 here, but the call for abstracts. So online, I believe it still says December 14th, if there's a date there at all. What I was told is they probably won't update that comment, but they are not closing the window for people to submit abstracts. And it's partly to do with the fact that they know there's a lot of people who are working on sessions and their speakers just haven't gotten their abstracts in. So they're not gonna make it public live, I guess, that there's more time in, but we do want to be able to bring things in that are still not there.
They did it, Karen. This morning I got a message saying that we have until January 10.
Okay, perfect.
Submit an abstract.
Okay, that's a new update, because they did mention sort of mid-January, but they hadn't said they were going to post it live. So
so they did it. Okay. So we're fine with point 3 and 4. I guess it was done together.
Could I ask, this is Jan, a quick question about the multi-stakeholder dialogue workshop. You mentioned that you would like speakers from other countries. And the problem that you may find is I would have a very good speaker, but I don't know if he could afford to come from Argentina. Does anybody know of a mechanism of getting funds for those people to travel?
This is a discussion that Andres has with us right now, because he would like ESRS to fund those people. So that will be one of the topic, one of the items on the agenda of that working group, to see how we can fund them. I'm not against funding those people, speakers coming from other part of the world, but that's something that will have to be discussed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It could also be a Zoom conference within the multi-stakeholder dialogue session with other people from other area. We're trying to do that with a remote site. So that's something to look at.
Good idea. Okay. Yes.
So if we're done with point 3 and 4, maybe I can ask Alistair to, you did already talk about your activities, Alistair, but do you have anything else to add regarding the working group?
No.
No, it's fine. Good. So point 6, school curriculum. Jan, you want to talk about that? And Anne is also on the call, so
I'm here.
you can talk about that.
I'm here in my noisy office.
Okay, we had a Karen. Oh boy, I'm a little confused.
Laurel.
Laurel, myself, and Edith. We had a call and we talked about this. Scott Dunbar of the UBC was very welcoming, and he gave. He had really a good opening for us to contribute things to their courses. Also, the opening that we have with the Mining Schools Committee could be linked to that. Where we stayed at was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anne, there was Laura was going to talk to Scott Dunbar because Scott had lots of broad ideas. He wanted a little bit more structure from what he was after so that we would know a little better how to focus. And
right, and I was hoping to meet with him, but he's away.
Oh, he's away. Okay.
He's away.
So that hasn't happened then.
No.
Anyway, we're waiting for Scott for a little more detail. And if we have a little better understanding of the kind of structure that he has in mind, that we can get.
So yeah, and the other thing I should point out is we've had a curriculum here for the last 8 years, almost 10 years. So I'll share the curriculum for our 4th year course with you, because there's probably a lot that already exists.
And are you expecting another meeting of that working group? Because the idea would be to get other members involved with the working group.
So I've contacted Erin Babicki at U of T, and I think it's on my list of things to do to contact Scott. So yes, he's away, but I have to contact him again. And I can't remember, Jan, am I contacting Hani Mitri? Is that my job?
No, I don't have that clear. We should contact him. My suggestion is that we contact him as soon as we get a little more from Scott, because then we can approach Hani Mitri with a little more definite.
Well, both are on the school committee, school mining committee. Scott Dunbar is the chair, and Hani Mitri is the vice chair. So both of them are on that. So they talk to each other. So the idea is to have that meeting with one or the other, but making sure that that committee can present a panel to within the technical program.
Okay.
I was very interested to do that, and I think Anne, you're working on that too. So we need to align all that.
Actually, then Anne is probably the best person to bell this cat.
Okay, I will do that. And I'll do that, and I'll report back to you in the 2nd week of January.
That's fine. Thank you.
So the idea is to have a panel present at the conference in one of our sessions.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Will do.
This is one of the topic that the working group is working on. Okay. So if it's okay with school curriculum, we can go to the number 7, conflict in mining. I'm not sure if Andres is in this meeting. Andres? No, so we will have to wait until the next meeting to hear from conflict in mining. This is a new working group that was created this fall, and Andres Recalde is the chair of that working group. For point 8, I'm afraid that Isabelle is not there. Is Isabelle Levesque on the call? That will also be postponed.
Okay, but we do have a quick update that was in the email. About,
yeah, it was, okay.
Just in regards to some questions that were going back and forth about social elements of the new standard. So there's been some just confirmation that a lot of the comments that were put forward on the last draft in regards to the social responsibility and potential for, mitigating or avoiding some of those risks have been incorporated into the newest draft they're working on now, and they've actually shifted the content to have it play a more substantial role, I think. That's the understanding that I have from the email anyways. And so their next issue, draft version to be circulated for comment, is targeted for mid-January, and they will be sending that out to ESRS as well as Ian Thompson and the group that he is working with on an international scale. So
that's fine. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. The next point is should be dealt by Carola, but I don't think she's online, is she, Carola? So that will also be postponed to the next meeting. This is what's happening when we're close to the holidays. So I think that could end our meeting unless someone has other topic to look at.
Edith?
Yeah.
It's Jennifer Hill.
Yes.
I can give you an update on the 43101 if you'd like.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I was at the last meeting. So
Me too.
You were too. Yeah, I thought so. So all the sections on the environment are kind of environmental management, impact assessment for the 43101.
Jennifer, I can hardly hear you.
Sorry, we've got, can you hear now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
We've got about half of, I guess, the guidance kind of drafted, and the social components are coming together as well. And I think we've got that section to be drafted, and I think the next meeting is mid-January. So things are coming along. There's still March is our date to that Corolla needs to submit it to the board. Is that right? Yes. So things are progressing there. I think that's it. Edith, you're on mute.
Thank you. I think that's the end of the meeting. I thank all of you to be participate to that monthly meeting of ESRS. We don't have a lot of people, but they were all there. So thank you very much, and have a Merry Christmas time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Holidays to everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.